No, please don't. No, don't, please don't, please.
Wilfred, it's my honor. Better be quick. 3, 2, 1.
Ginger, something important. I'm crashing.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? I am thrilled and delighted to join you on this very special day. I am so fucking excited. I'm sorry, darling. I just am. I am giddy. I am literally giddy. Jodie, darling, that's the bar. That's the bar. Good luck, honey. Not just. I just wanted to remind you what it really looked like to watch Doctor Who, right? And even if you don't really like the the modern era, that's a really great bit of Doctor Who. Honestly, best regeneration episode was the 11th hour. I mean, like by far. I mean, what's the 12th Doctor's one? It wasn't very good. Deep breath, right? Yeah, deep breath. It wasn't very good. It was an extra long one, and it was too padded, right? If they took out the 15 minutes they put in, would have been much better. Christmas Invasion, not enough Doctor Who in it, really. We didn't see an. I mean, what do you want to say? Rose is the regeneration episode. It's not really I mean, kind of is. He's clearly just seen his ears for the first time. So let's call that the regeneration episode. Yeah, 11th hour beats that, right? A strong contender though would be we used to call it Enemy Within. I'm not sure what it's called now. The Eighth Doctor movie, right? That's actually, I think that's a strong contender. I quite like that movie, right? I quite like that. I mean, look, Time the Running. God bless you, darling. No, you're not in the running. Right? And oh man, I mean, if they only knew what Sylvester McCoy was going in, and they could have really done, they did that opening sequence with Sylvester McCoy. I mean, how would you do it in that day? But you know, when he's like hanging on the TARDIS, like because he's very acrobatic. That really would have like lent into him. I think if somebody gave JNT the idea, he would have found a way to do it. Right? He'll be like, yeah, that's actually would be really it, and that creates the Doctor. Right, going, and it's not the Doctor they went with eventually, but you know that creates the season 24 Doctor, right? It was very, acrobatic body, but does it compare to 11's fucking out? No, I'm sorry, Twin Dilemma. Come on, no, I'm sorry, I'm still like drooling from Paris cleavage shot at the end of the regeneration of Kayser Van Razani. What do you want at me, darling? I'm like, one day in the future, I'll invent something called high def. One day in the future, I'll invent something called high def. It will be Blu-ray, and you will freeze that. I mean, it's okay. It's already frozen in my memory forever. It will always be there. I'm sorry, Nicola. I've stolen your soul, right? To a certain extent. Anyway, 11th hour still. It's a great episode. Going back, so then you got Castrovalva, I mean, look, I'm not just in the first episode. I'll do the full story. No, I won't be a dick about it. Castrovalva's a good story. I mean, it's good, but it's like, it's very, you know, season 19, isn't it? Very Chris and Peter Mead. You know, it was like, it's reach out, stretch his grasp. I mean, the special edition is a lot better. But it's just like, look, you need to be really high, okay? It's like, it's Warriors Gate high, okay? I'm just saying, if you got to be off your face to really enjoy the episode, it's not that great. But I would say, if one is off there, I mean, like, if you're doing mushrooms as Doctor Who, sorry, Castrovalva is the way. You get all the forests. It'll be so cool. You have it on a big screen, like we'll get all the forests, and then you get the Escher stuff. I mean, I get maybe I will start freaking out with the master. I don't know, but I think I mean, listen, it's a number one gay fantasy. I understand Castrovalva with the Adric bondage stuff. You know, that's very popular, right? Very, very popular. What's it? I remember, what was it on? It wasn't Howard Stern. It was another show. A prostitute. It was an English prostitute was being interviewed, right? And they go through the services she does, and she's like, I do a 2-girl, you know, service. And so is that popular? Oh, extremely. I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense, right? So yeah. It's very popular. Anyway, I digress. I guess if you're gay, Castrovalva has a lot of good wank material. I never really thought about this before, right? I mean, you know, Peter Damon's a bit dishy. He's a bit confused. Come this way, Peter. Let me take you to my zero room. Oh, your clothes are coming off. Well, it just happens, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. I've never plugged in gay libido in fantasies into Doctor Who before. It just happens to be. I might hit a rich stream. Anyway, regeneration stories. But then we got Robot. No, Robot's a really weird hangover from the Hinchcliffe, from the Barry Letts era, right? This is the one where Hinchcliffe and Holmes were sort of learning what to do, right? This is the Hinchcliffe Holmes equivalent of season 24 for Andrew Cartmel, right? This is the one where they learned how to make Doctor Who. I very much like Spearhead from Space. That was a strong episode. I would say it's a strong contender, right? I mean, you got the nestings. That's ding, and they come out there. That's a good one. Is it as good as 11? I'm putting 11th Hour better than Spearhead from Space, right? But I'm not dissing Spearhead, right? Spearhead's awesome. I just think 11th Hour picks it just by a bit, right? Just by a bit. Let me know in the comments, all right? I'm going to get to the chat soon. Picks it just a tiny bit. So then you got also like Power of the Daleks is a pretty strong regeneration episode, right? And I like the way they have it built into the format. They can be a bit different, right? Because they say, but they're just working out how to do it, right? So they're like, yeah, and so that's why it's all a little bit different, which I kind of like that. So the animation I found for this is excellent. It's a really creepy story, but again, no, 11th Hour is better. 11th Hour has more zip, it's more fun, right? And then you got Unearthly Child. Do you call it Unearthly Child and Tribe of Gum? That's a good question, right? I'm gonna say yes, right? Put them together, right? Damn, that's a good episode. That's a damn, that's 11th Hour still has it. 11th Hour, I think, is the best regeneration episode, but I'm getting excited. She's going, baby. She's going. It's over. Oh, fuck me. We just got to get through 19 minutes and it's gone. It's over. We could just take the piss. We don't have to deal with this shit anymore. Oh my God. My life is going to be so much better. Right? You don't understand, right? And give it 2 weeks. It's gone. right? It's good. It's good. Okay. There's this bit in the prayers for the High Holy Days, which I like a lot, right? Where it's a focal point of like a personal meditation. And it says, the cold Russia call out every evil, take their pair, their mouths will shut. Oh, the silence, right? Was it cold Russia call out, and all the evil Ka'asham will turn in, it would be like smoke, right? Essentially, it'll be like how you dispel a boggart in Harry Potter. And it seems so real now, right? It seems real now, but as soon as something's gone, I've gone through this in life many times, right? It's like oppressive. Once it's gone, and it's going to be gone. Oh, I'm so happy it's going to be gone because it's fucking awful, right? The actual episodes have been fucking awful. The attitude of the people making it has been fucking awful. Their fans have been cunts, right? It's been fucking awful, right? There's nothing redeeming about this era, right? There really, really isn't. I like the Cybermen costumes. I like the Sontaran costumes. I liked Calvinist. I thought Calvinist had potential to be fun, right? They could have done it like a Steve Dillon, pirate with a Dalek killer type of thing, right? I could see. Right, and I saw it was so close, but the resources wasted on this shit. It's shit. I like, the more you think about it, the more you think this is, oh god, all this noise over this shit. Yeah, and that's why there's so much fucking noise, right? Because everybody knows it's shit, right? Everybody knows it's shit. The BBC knows it's shit. The people making it know it's shit. The only people who don't know it's shit, the people who pretend they like it. And I think, probably it's, why do you love something and why do you hate something, right? Essentially, it's like, why do you like somebody, why do you dislike something? Essentially, everybody, apart from real douchebags, everybody has about the same amount of good character traits and bad character traits. Like, everybody has about the same right amount of them, right? The same amount of them. And if you hate somebody, you focus on their negative character traits, right? They fill up your vision of them, right? It's good for me to say to myself, because the people I'm fucked off with, right? And I just, if I can put it in this context, it makes my life more manageable, right? But you just focus on their negative character traits. If you like somebody, if you love somebody, you just focus on their good character traits, and you see their negative ones, but they're somewhat endearing, right? It's all a question of focus, right? So I've always been trying to work out how anybody could genuinely like this era, right? And honestly, I know people do, right? Like, I really think, what's that bloke, the cosplayer? I saw him on Twitter just now. Dominic Martin. Okay, Dominic G. Martin. I like Dominic G. Martin because, for many reasons, I think he's a smart guy. But I think he's a very sweet guy, very, very erudite, right? And I do like his cosplay. He loves this era, right? He absolutely adores this era. I don't know. I think along tribal lines, if people liked it along tribal lines, right? Because I've been saying this a lot recently. When you said you didn't like, if you said you didn't like Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, you were saying you love Donald Trump because he hates black people and women, right? That's what you were saying, right? In that was the insanity, right? Because that's how people reacted. So if you're on the tribal lines that had that insanity, which that is what they thought. That is how they thought, right? You were saying, I hate these, I'm this bigot here, bigot, and they believed it, right? I don't want to be a bigot. That's not me. And so I have to like it then, right? And so you focus on its good traits. But everybody knows it's fucking awful. I mean, and that's why they get fucked off with people like me who keep saying, it's fucking awful. Fuck's sake. It was fucking awful. You know, because they know people hate it when you're right. Okay, nobody gets as mad as you when you're right. Like, you know, there are the whole controversy over this religious official, right, who I thought was a bit of a douchebag because he violated the sacred commandments. But, you know, that's just me for you. But they say he didn't do it, like, in front of everybody. Anyway, they hate me. So, no, they don't. Most of them are okay. There's a core of like 2 or 3 that hate me beyond hate me beyond hate me, right? Because I tell the truth, right? We're not allowed to talk about that shit that went down, right? Because it makes them feel bad, right? It's because it's the truth, right? And that's why the Jodie nuts were nutballs, right? Also, a lot of them are just like miserable, shitty people. I want to tell you. I mean, look, it does seem to be that, you know, the on the less common side of the sexual spectrum you were, the more you tended to like this era of Doctor Who, and it does happen to be the people who are on the less common side of the sexual spectrum also here often on the less mentally well section of the world. You know, they're also fucking nuts. You know, I'm not saying the two are connected. I don't know. There's a high propensity. I'm saying it's there, okay? You know, nutballs, okay? You know, if you're purple head, if you dyed your hair purple and pink, right, to stick it to the man, and you think it's good to take children to see twerking over overweight 50-year-olds in heels and a thong, right? If you're on a float, if you think that's a good thing, right? If you think it's good that your kid, wants to sexually mutilate themselves surgically, if you think it's a good thing, oftentimes you're also not the wellest people in the world, right? I'm not saying there's causality, or I'm just saying that that statistic exists, right? And boy, did that drive a lot of this fandom. Fuck me. It's like, I remember one of my earliest jobs I had. I was temping and they had me doing cleaning. Oh, fuck, it was awful. Had me doing cleaning in a mental home. Basically. You're right? And it was, I'm like, oh, yeah. This is like them. They're fucking crazy. Right? So, yeah, if you are on the crazy side of the world, you were kind of attracted to this fandom, right? This fandom, like really just wanted to fight everybody and everything if that didn't feel it validated them. Like, that's how badly they needed validation. That's how much they know they're full of shit, because they need the validation. It's not a negotiable thing. They must have the validation, right? Without the validation, their life fucking ends, right? That's who we were dealing with. Nutballs. Oh, I mean, what's going to happen to them now? I don't know. Maybe they'll stick around for a bit. Maybe they'll go to something else. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's most people are going to like the new Doctor Who. It's just the way. I mean, even if we don't, right? Most people in the world are almost certainly going to like the new Doctor Who, right? It's good. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Russell Davies is doing it. He's on form and he hasn't had a clunker. Right, he's going to be successful, right? Most people are going to like it, which is fine by me, right? I always said, if people like this piece of shit, then it's not for me, and I moved on. A Doctor Who died, right? The reason I fought on, right? The reason I railed against this awful, awful reality all the way through, right? Firstly, truth is important to me, right? Call me crazy. Truth is genuinely important to me. Boy, did I not realize what a small demographic that fucking puts me in. Anyway, so there was that. But also, it was a lie. And the lies are still going on that it was popular, that it worked, that people liked it. It's a lie. You fucked it up. I don't know how else to put this. It's a lie. All right? It is. Maybe tonight's episode is a good one, right? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you know, who knows what could happen, right? I don't know. I don't see how that's in any way possible, right? I just don't. You can put as many monsters and shit in it and anything else other than Jodie. If it went through the Chibnall wash, you're fucked, right? If Jodie's in it, you're fucked. She's just awful. I don't want to tell you. I did an article yesterday from The Guardian. Did a live stream last night. From The Guardian. It just off the charts, insane. Right here, check out my thumbnail for tonight. Doink. Sorry I brought you a little kiddie time travel show, but icky thump, I did it my way. Yeah, I struggling to get the right level of condensation, right, and not giving a fuck at all how much they fucked up, right? I'm trying to get that right level, and I think I did. God bless me. I think I did. It feels right. Icky thump. Oh, let me take a piss on you one last time. So my prediction for tonight is that the narration we heard on the trailer they released last night, right? The one with everything but Jodie in it, right? That trailer. That's how I think the episode begins, right? I think the episode begins with Jodie doing a monologue, trying to sound clever and in charge, and it just doesn't work because she's not very clever. I mean, how do we know this? Okay, how do we know this? Imagine Jodie playing Sherlock Holmes. Exactly. It's not possible. Don't be silly. Jodie can't play Sherlock Holmes, not because she's a girl. No, because she's not clever enough to imagine being clever, right? She, like Jeremy Brett, I think is probably quite clever. I don't think he was Sherlock Holmes clever, but he was clever enough to imagine what it was to be like to be Sherlock Holmes clever, right? And then he acted that way. Jodie Whittaker's not clever enough to do that, okay? She's not clever enough to act like she's clever. So she doesn't sound like she's clever. It's here. It's just the way it here. We'll watch that trailer again. Hang on. Here we go. Video file. Do I still have it? Yeah. Did I download it? Oh, we got to watch that. There we go. There you go.
It's about to change.
Oh, and she's gone. Right? Yeah, no, Jodie. What's happening? No, she's gone. Right? Got to get her off the screen.
There's this moment.
Yeah. This is her monologuing, right? I reckon this is the opening monologue to the episode, right? And it's trying to detract by saying great Doctor Who at the same time.
There's this moment when you're sure you're about to die. Doctor!
Is this death?
And then...
I mean, did you notice how unconvincing she was just now? Like, she just can't do it. Listen to her.
You're born.
It's over.
What's happened?
Change, my dear. Time Lords have this little trick. It's all the way of cheating death, except it means I'm going to change.
Well, here we go again.
Even if I...
Yeah, remember when Doctor Who was good? You like Doctor Who? Don't think about Jodie.
change, it feels like dying.
That one's too young.
Oh, no, that won't do at all.
They've got to swamp Jodie with everybody else, right? So you don't notice her.
I'm the doctor.
No, you weren't.
Completely different.
What do you think of my new face, by the way? Could be useful on the planet Delphon where they communicate.
Oh, I love that. That's one of my favourite bits. Some to burn through here, even though it wasn't like him at all.
Eyebrows.
This is the best thing ever. Never did this when I was a man.
Oh, but you've got to dilute her with so much Doctor Who, which is what they've done, right? That's what this episode. They just diluted her with Doctor Who, and they're going to try and make it seem like Doctor Who. It's going to be shit.
Any moment now, he's coming.
Who's coming?
The Doctor.
Laugh hard.
Don't forget me.
Don't you forget me.
Run fast.
Do you have a plan? Nice to meet you, Dan. Run for your life.
I can't stand it. You know, I don't like the. I like the 10th Doctor less now because she's a bad imitation of him. Oh. No, Capaldi, you should have just died. I'm sorry, mate. You shouldn't have regenerated if this is what it's going to be. But I think this is the year we're going to call it. Okay, I'm writing a book, right? So I'm writing a book, The Guide to the Jodie Whittaker. Ecky's up, The Guide to the Jodie Whittaker era. I'm hoping it's going to be the era so awful it retconned itself out of existence, which is what I think it's going to do tonight, right? Which is what I'm hoping it's going to do tonight. Retcon itself out of existence. Wouldn't that be great?
One day, I shall come back.
But times change, and so must I.
Doctor, I let you go.
Beware of the forces that mass against you.
And then she's just shit, right? It's incredible. Doctor. Oh shit! And then you can't dilute her. She's insoluble. What do you want out of me, mate?
I'm their master.
Oh.
Something's coming for me.
That apparently is the last thing people saw at the press screening, right? So about 10 minutes before the end.
All is ending. Doctor!
It's all this like Doctor Who karaoke. It still doesn't work, right? It still doesn't. It's not. It doesn't work, darling. You put the Tom Baker theme in it as much as you like. It doesn't work. Okay, it does. I'm sorry. You know what do you want me to tell you? Right? It's shit. It's so shit. Let me get the chat. Genuine Comics is here. Hey, oh, by the way, he just launched his new campaign. Please come on my channel at some point and talk about it. It looks very good. He always has very sexy comics. They're very good. I want to do a Doctor Who comic. Yeah, come on, Genuine Comics. They do a Doctor Who comic. We would all like that. We want a sexy Doctor Who comic. But his stuff is very good. I do like it. And now it's like he was on when it was just starting. And so now he's like got a good few of these volumes done. So he's like much more accomplished. But do go and if you're still around, please put your campaign in the chat. Soda Rangers is here. How you doing, sorry? So I'm just excited. Okay, I am giddy. I'm giddy and excited. This piece of shit era is nearly done. Right? I hope it doesn't touch the next the Rusty Davis era. I hope it's it literally retcons itself out of existence. That would be my preference. Mr. Jekyll and Hyde is here. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us. A bit of a Sunday afternoon vibe. Catherine T is here. Hi, all. Go out the door and turn around now because you're all not welcome. You're all welcome. You're all totally welcome. Easily become one of my favorites. Actually, knocking Revelation of the Daleks very second. What are we talking about? We're talking about Power of the Daleks. I am your servant. Yeah, no, I like Power. Power's a solid story, mate. Disaster Area is here. How you doing, Disaster Area? Matthew J is here. Telly, my son, he may not be able to be called Disaster Area for much longer. I mean, basically, it still can. I mean, honestly, his job, he's in the tank corps, right? And his job is a loader, right? So basically, he's like shoveling shells in combat. He's like, yeah, workles. That's perfect for him. But yeah, you have to remember, don't put your head over here, because when the thing gun fires, go bam, bam, and it'll knock your head off. It will literally kill you if you put your head in the wrong place, and you put your arm in the wrong place, right? So he's like, oh, so hopefully he doesn't do any of that. But other than that, his girlfriend, boy, she really upped the ante for his birthday, right? She did it like crazy. She cleaned his room, which looked like, you know, Hiroshima, right? I mean, like, she scraped the gum off from under the desk and there. She like really, she didn't even know what to do, right? Because he wanted to like set balloons up and stuff in there. And then she had 20 presents for him because it was his 20th birthday. And he had this like cute little what's it called again? Like map of like they're like 21 of these little paper cups, and each cup was 20 of the she had paper cups, and under the cups was like guides of which presents over next. And these presents were a bloody fortune she got him. Oh my god. She got him like the whitest trainers I've ever seen ever. Right? Just the one. I was like, oh my god, what are you doing? And she made him this cake. Oh, mate, this cake. Well, you could taste the love in it. Oh, she's good. Look, she has her claws in it, and I'm really, really happy. Right? I hope this pair go the distance. I think they could. I think they generally could get married. But yeah, I think anything could happen, right? But boy, what can he do for her birthday? This is crazy. It was like, I don't know what to do. I like none of it. We were all like brainstorming about it on Sabbath. Like I don't even know. Like she wants an experience, right? So somebody said to skydiving, and don't know. I'm like, anal. No, she's not for that. I actually did say that. I don't think my wife heard me. I would have gotten in a lot of trouble. They're actually very good. I have to tell you, they are. This couple of they're very chaste, right? They're both religious, right? I mean, they hold hands and canoodle, right? But they're not stooping. That's right. They're not stooping each other. My son is way too religious. Man, he's super. He's like more. He's like. I'm like an old man now. Leave me alone. I like being like one of the old men at the back. Yeah, that's really that's where I've sunk into. I'm like, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, okay. Basically, this is it. I'm in the category of people who just want to be left the hell alone. Don't make us get fucking involved, right? That's where I am now. Okay, yeah. I'm with the group who wants to be left alone. Don't make us get involved. Don't fuck things up. That's where I am in life. Matthew Jesse, so many videos. I'm struggling to keep up with you. Oh, dude, there's so much going on, right? Oh my god, there is so much going down. I did the stream last night. By the way, I love the thumbnail. You know, listen, we got to use these. We got to use these again. The time's nearly up. Look, listen, man. If only this was real. Right. If only you were quite as accommodating as whoever this young lady obviously is about to be. She looks like she's awfully good. I could have done it's the final countdown, but no, that would be too much. It's the final countdown as Chip said, way to go, fuckity bye. We take a piss on their turgid era. Yes, we do. That is why we're here. We're here to take a dump on here because it's shit. We will literally do anything to get you to watch tonight. I understand that. Here, Keithum, please save my legacy from the lowest ratings ever. We can't, darling. We can't. What do you want out of me? What do you want? But it's like Christmas morning. Everyone is fucking streaming. I'm so excited. Like, I'm on somebody else's channel. Hopefully, I'm on somebody else's channel today as well. But yeah. I'm raring to go. Garbage is here. How you doing, Garbage? Thank you for joining us. Who else we got here? Matthew, Paul Tosland. Good Sunday. Good morrow to you, sir. How you doing? The unearthly child followed by 10,000 BC is what I call it. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, Tribal Gum, that's dating me, isn't it? Scott W, just a reminder that everything since Series 11 isn't really Doctor Who as we reasonably expected. Well, that's very fair. I mean, again, I'm sticking with the Doctor and its chronology right now. Let's see what happens tonight. It has been a long fucking 5 years, hasn't it? It really, really has, Mr. Jekyll. It just, oh man, it's just awful. Shimek is there. What's that? Someone just binging me. What's that? What that binging was? I like a good binging. I have no idea. I don't know what that notification was. That could be anything. Well, I don't know. Hang on. Let me check this. Was it that? No. I don't know. I guess I'll find out. Anyway, we're up to Real Super Doctor. How you doing? If this regenerator just fade out, we do something knocks on and we can dismiss it until RTD. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. Real Super Doctor. Right? That's exactly what I'm hoping for. Give us that. I mean, I think it's going to lean into multiverse and there's going to be a multiverse of doctors, right? Doctor could be everyone. Yay. And somebody predicted that she might fall off a cliff to regenerate because they did that in Broadchurch, right? So I'm like, well, that sounds reasonable. Well, it's kind of like Star Wars is now. I understand Andor is okay to watch, but no, it's not. But no one does. It's not really okay to watch. Here's the trouble with Andor. It should have been a 2-hour movie. It's just boring as hell. It's like a lot of sitting around in kitchens. It really is. It's like all these cutscenes that you don't really need to. This is like I don't need to know this. I don't need to know this. There's so much stuff focusing on this one character. This little jumped up official that gets his ass handed to him. That we just follow it, and he's not really been a part of the action. I'm like, this character better do something fucking significant, right? Because they spent a lot of time on it. BBC did screw up there. I do agree with you. Mark the Vicar is here. How you doing? I'm Mojin. How you doing? Didn't really like Kabaddi. Well, listen, each to their own, baby. Each to their own. Everybody needs to feel free to be who they are. I'm fine with that. I'm just don't tell me what to believe, which is really what's going on in the world. Wooly is here. How you doing, Wooly? Thank you for joining us. I may just give it a miss and wait for your book. Oh, yeah, that's probably an idea. Oh, you got a point going. You got a drink going. I really got to get some beverages going before this evening. Yes. So we got the Sunday afternoon thing doing. Matthew Pounder is here. How you doing, Matthew Pounder? Thank you for joining us. And what else we got? Okay, whizzing through the chat. Robert Payne is here. Hey, Robert. Vomit verse. I don't know what that is, Matthew Pounder, but it doesn't sound like I would like it, right? It doesn't sound like I like it. Anyway, so that's right now we have this is Icky Thump. Icky Thump, I'll be on afterwards. This was supposed to go out yesterday, but I got too much other stuff going on. She-Hulk, who gives a shit? Oh, but a bit of gratuitous Nicola Bryant for you. Because you know what, that's my stream from last night, and you always need a bit of Nicola, darling. You always need a bit of Nicola. That's what I say. Fine, let's start going through the legacy of Jodie Whittaker, and we'll do it, in their own words. We're going to use a video they just put out yesterday. Okay, Jodie, let it rip. Eva's here. How you doing, Ev? I don't understand. How do you... I mean, firstly, this was obviously made a year ago, probably more. But I get your shit already, darling. 30 moments.
From the 13th Doctor.
1.
So, number 1. Crashing through the roof of the train. It was one of the...
I mean, really, she doesn't anything with conviction, right? I don't even remember this. I mean, honestly, this episode, we were all kind of waiting for something to happen, and it did kind of meander along and things like you did get a villain and the comeuppance, and Grace got killed. And it I don't know, I have to rewatch it, but it didn't seem to be it seemed to be kind of nondescript, right? It seemed to be a little. I don't know. I wasn't looking to hate it, right? So I was like, yeah, it was okay. We can't really tell anything about it, but falling through the track, I remember that.
Best entrances into an episode ever for anyone, because as a stand-up, they play the iconic beats of the soundtrack, and I've never felt cooler.
Actually, that was a good bit. I have to tell you, if only actually lived up to that, right? That was actually the best bit of that episode. I recall that. I was like, oh, okay, it feels like they're Doctor Who now for a minute. And you couldn't really tell how bad she's going to be at that point. You know, look, I don't want to be a dick for being dick's sake. What do you want out of me? Let's see, number 2.
Jumping between the cranes, did it on day 1. And then also, as the Doctor, it was a really fun thing to do, because it referenced the fact that I'd regenerated from Peter. Hence, I remembered my legs being longer, and I nearly...
And it just... I don't remember this at all. I have literally no memory of this whatsoever. I don't want to tell you. Okay. It doesn't look very heroic to me. Isn't this where you let what's the name die? I mean, I don't want to tell you. This is a really nondescript moment that nobody remembers whatsoever. You know, I mean, look, characters is more memorable than this. And it actually genuinely is, as it happens. So it's kind of a fun way to end the season. Like, every Doctor's had more memorable. I don't tell you. This is just dull as dishwater, right? It just is. And I know you're doing a stunt, but it wasn't as cool as you remember, darling. I hate to tell you.
Didn't make the jump. By far, obviously up there is shooting the bus scene at the end of the episode for Rosa.
God, you want to vomit in my own mouth, darling. Right? I mean, like, oh God, this is all... much like the Black Little Mermaid. Is a Black Little Mermaid for black people? No. Generally, people don't like to be condescended to, right? And amazingly, what most liberals don't understand is black people are also people, right? So, you know, they don't... they generally, they're like, oh, whatever, who gives a shit? Red back, basically, right? But who did like the Black Little Mermaid? Who was the Black Little Mermaid for? It was for predominantly white people who wanted to feel good about themselves. For saying, oh, look at us, we're so stunning and brave, we're with you. This is for white people. I'm sorry. This is not for black people. This is to infantilize black people. This is for white people to infantilize black people and make themselves feel good about it. Hen122 is there. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Yep. There we go.
Where Vanette Robinson's Rosa has her incredible moment of saying no.
No. Oh, look at me. Keep up. Oh, fore up my little forehead. Oh, I'll stop my little feeders. Like, this is a Doctor Who. Her Doctor Who is, like, so insanely impotent. This wouldn't be so bad if she had any agency, but her only agency in this was sitting around and doing fucking nothing.
If you don't stand, I'm going to have you arrested.
Oh, white person bad. White person bad.
When we see the TARDIS on the rocks, we shot it in South Africa. It was beautiful. It ended up being a real icon.
Okay, honestly, I'm going to agree with you on this bit. This was the only episode where I felt like I didn't feel despair at the end of this episode, right? I was like, okay, this is kind of work. I mean, I honestly, but I was giving it the benefit of the doubt, right? I overlooked the ridiculous cliffhanger conclusion where they just luckily got picked up by some ship before they died. That was just stupid. And she did like really, really, really nearly get them all killed then cause just stupidity and like through pure stupidity. But that, so I gave that a pass. I don't think I can give that a pass anymore because that is Jodie Whittaker's era. That's who she is. She's a dangerously stupid idiot, right? But in this episode, where I thought I had no idea how bad it was going to get, okay, but I thought this episode looked like Doctor Who.
One shot of the series when Tosin Cole fell out of an ox cart, but it was.
God, stop! This. I mean, like, oh, Jodie, darling. Oh, I mean, like, what's the opposite of gravitas? Oh, I mean, like, you're so fucking lightweight. Like, look, Tom Baker on 6 hours of the piss in the middle of Soho Square is more fucking together than you, right? It's like he could fall out the window of the, I don't know, the Buggery Club or wherever the fuck they are in Soho, right? With Jackson Pollock or whoever he's with, like, you know, it's I don't know what to tell you. It's just the absolute opposite of any form of gravity. So your friend fell off a car.
So, number one, crashing through. As Rosa, when we see the TARDIS, when Tosin Cole fell out of an ox cart,
really?
But it was.
Guess why? Again. What? How? How does this happen? Like, I again. Picture Tom Baker. It's 1976. These yellow nicotine encrusted fingers has his 17th fag burned down to the end as he drinks his 14th triple scotch of the day, right? You know, with leaning over from I don't know, Edward Woodward, right? And whoever of the day, right? He would have more composure. He would have more gravitas. He would have more, central gravity than Jodie Whittaker. Now, I have to tell you, like how can I put this? Like a very heavy menstrual flow, right? You need more padding, right? If your flow is heavy, you need more padding. And there's just so much flow coming out from the Jodie Whittaker era in her final sputtering moments before she's gone, right? If anybody can ban that bot, that'd be really good. Can I do it? Block user. See if that works for me. Hang on. Looked like it did it. There you go. I need more. What can I say? Waddage. I need more wadges to help soak up the menstrual. What's the word I'm looking for? Abomination. That is Jodie Whittaker era. Who else can I ask to join me in this task? Birmingham's old king of the geeks. In the call, Dan Hadley. How are you doing, sir?
Best intro ever. Merry Christmas to you too, mate. Merry Christmas. Oh God, it's tempting.
Yeah, where is it? Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. It is.
Yes, I've just seen the pictures of the.
You told me to. I was saying I got to get. Where should I go for the red? I'll go for the red one because I went the blue one.
Christmas comes early to another planet, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Hang on 1 second. Let me just adorn myself correctly. 1 second. Yeah, very good. Very good. Because it's a festive mood. I guess we've got to get the booze out tonight. There we go. There you go. We're all excited. So I'm watching Jodie's video about her 13 best moments.
Oh God!
Brilliant.
How far down is she? How many have we got into?
We're into 5, and Tosin Cole fell off a car on number 5.
I'm up to speed. Good.
And she pissed herself. I mean, like, this is basically where we are. Like, oh, is it the have I got the like? You know how she's not very smart. Here's how you can tell she's not very smart. Imagine her playing Sherlock Holmes. She can't do that.
Impossible. I can't imagine her playing
really
Doctor Who. I've watched it for 4 years.
It's not about the gender swapping. It's just she's not clever enough to imagine being clever enough.
Well, we're past that point, aren't we? But was it Robert Holmes always said that Doctor Who is the show that finds you out? No, Philip Hinchcliffe said that as a writer, didn't he? Is the show that finds you out. I think we can safely say that extends to actors as well.
It's Philip Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
There she is. Oh, bless her heart.
But it was. Well, also, just because to minimise his embarrassment, he kind of laid still for a bit so that we all fretted that he got injured. But then when we saw him laughing, it was all safe to ourselves.
Like, really? Wet ourselves. Again, Tom Baker on this, Soho Square, more composure. It's unbelievable.
So at the end of Arachnids in the UK.
Why are you talking about Arachnids in the UK? That's the worst. Look at her. Look, she's trying to think. Look at that. Look at that.
This video looks like it was made. This video looks like it was made a long time ago.
Oh yeah, well over a year ago. Look at it. Yeah, one second. I got to try and get.
She looks just like Shah from Geek Rambles. There, you know, Shah. Sorry, Shah.
Here, one second. Capture. Just screen capture because I'm going to want that in the video. I don't know, but it's weird. I'm not. It's nearly over, right? Have you seen my thumbnail for tonight, by the way?
I haven't. No, I'll have to. I'll make sure I do get a good look at it. I think you have sent it to me, but I don't think I had a proper chance.
That was the one for last, a bit gratuitous Perry.
Yes, I saw
that's
that.
One for now.
Yeah.
We all literally do anything. But there's the one for tonight.
God, man, this girl looks so hot in that. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, God.
I know. Well, sorry I broke your little kiddie time travel show, but if you from I did it my way.
I think people are going to love that. I think that thumbnail's going to. People may well request that as some sort of large format print, maybe.
Well, I decided I'm going to write a book. I'm starting next month. I'm writing a book, a guide to the Mickey Thump, the guide to the Jodie Whittaker era. I'm going to write that book because I reckon I can sell that book. I'll do a full essay on each episode and tell you about what's happening when. We'll mention Time Lord Victorious. We'll mention all the highs, all the lows. The turgid Jodie Whittaker. How we nearly came together for 10 seconds and then Paul Cornell took a piss on it. It's all going to be remembered. We'll remember the stunning and brave new time team that all turned out to be perverts. It's all. We'll all remember every step of the way of this turgid era. Anyway, let's get back to this thing. Add to stream. Nope, come back. Run! I mean, like, seriously, in our first episode, I was talking about the Ghost Monument, right? I thought I was okay, but I remember the things I overlooked, but mainly the resolution of the cliffhanger where they got teleported randomly to space and then randomly, like impossibly. That was actually a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy joke that it's statistically completely impossible. I even overlooked that. Oh, it's like, why would you stay around her? She's a disaster. I'm surprised the other doctors didn't turn them up and like just whack them on the head.
For your own good, yeah.
But it's a really beautiful moment where they decide to stay. Welcome aboard. Properly.
What do you know was the lowest point of the Jodie Whittaker era?
Oh, there's so many to choose from, isn't there? I think that the lowest point could be It's between two places. I mean, creatively, the lowest point is Legend of the Sea Devils. I think the sword fight, the cutlass fight on the deck. It was amateur dramatic level. I have been to plays performed in church halls with better production values, better rehearsed, better acting than that. But I think generally speaking, the lowest point has to be the Timeless Children. The entire thing, really, but particularly the moment where the master does that whole thing about, this is all your incarnations. So I think it's the bit where all the Morbius doctors come sort of smashing into the screen. I think that's probably the lowest point.
Oh, where she uses her super intelligent brain to break the Matrix.
That's the one. Yeah, I think that's the creative. That's the low Doctor Who wise, but there's so many.
For me, it's like Timeless Children or what's that episode? The one with the she's socially awkward.
Can you hear me?
Can
that's pretty low. That's it. That's a contender. I think that would probably be my third pick for completely different reasons, but it'd be my third pick.
Right, and then after that, there's Orphan 55, which is awful.
Yeah. That's a benchmark for.
But I think the bottom line is, even if we don't like the new Doctor Who going forward, we feel it's not Doctor Who. I think it's pretty much guaranteed it's going to be very popular. I think most people will like it, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, the word popular now, obviously, I don't like making excuses for television, because at the end of the day, if you make television that no bugger wants to watch, there's no point in making it at all. But the definition of popular is sort of gradually changing all the time, and how people find their entertainment and all that kind of thing. But to me, Rabbi, what this will be, I can't speak for whether it'll be popular or not, but it will be a quality production again. It will be compelling drama again. And I think it will be a lot better made. As for whether it'll be successful,
I don't know if it's going to be any of that stuff, right? I don't know if it's going to be any of that stuff. I just think it's going to be like, when something's popular and when something's not. They pretend everything's popular, so there's a background buzz of everything. But when something actually genuinely is, we
feel it in the air because there's a crackle of excitement from everybody you talk to about it. That people can't wait to talk to you about something that is popular.
Spider-Man No Way Home. That was the last time.
Yeah.
Top Gun. It was popular, right? We knew it, but I think it's going to catch the zeitgeist of whatever it is.
It's possible.
I think it's possible. I think it's probable. Again, it might not be what I would consider Doctor Who. It might not. It might be too different for me, right? Fine. I always said if this era was successful, I would have walked away. It was that I was being gaslit and told it was that what everybody wanted when nobody did. Right? Yeah. And we all know now nobody wanted this nonsense, other than the weirds at the BBC.
As from tomorrow morning, they're spending effectively an extended period of time, the best part of 12 months, really, resetting the table, if you like, and rebuilding the brand. I don't think people are really aware, and I don't think. Well, I know that people generally aren't aware quite how big this is, but believe me, it's big. Everybody, there's a lot of big things coming in the next few weeks. Never mind next year.
I think so. So, do you think we're seeing anything tonight? Anything in the way of a trailer tonight?
I think possibly. I think we may see something along similar lines to how we used to get at the end of Russell T Davies episodes. And remember when the Runaway Bride was on, and they showed at the end that teaser for what we were going to get in series 3. So a mash of images. I think we may get something like that. But how far they are into editing the thing, I don't know. They may be some way into it.
That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want to see. Right. That's sort of thing. Exactly what I like to say. Although you might want to say he doesn't want to taint his production with this one.
I think that
he did put a trailer out for this on his Instagram.
I think Russell was faced with a decision several months ago whether to put as much distance between this and his production as possible, or whether to reach back to it and to try and almost salvage it. And I think he's chosen the latter, which I think will, and I think for reasons that I believe will become evident when we watch the thing tonight. I said on my show the other night that I have every reason to believe that Russell T Davies has been involved in the final edit of this thing, and the more I hear, the more little whispers come my way, and I think it'll be very obvious when we watch it.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe that means it's going to be a more watchable episode, which would be great. That's one of the worst things about reviewing this shit. It's so painful to watch. It just takes but you know,
and you know what? If they announce Rabbi, if they announce Jamie Magnus Stone as one of the directors on series 14, then we'll know that Russell and Jamie have been working together on an edit because Chris Chibnall has been out of the picture.
I mean, like, you know, you got to worry about his mental health and all. Like when somebody's really screwed up like this.
Oh yeah,
and everybody knows it, right? And does he have another job lined up? He hasn't. Nothing's announced.
Well, if you look at the pictures of Chris Chibnall at that premiere, he looks like he hasn't been out of the house for months. He looks like a man very conscious. I think he's very conscious of of how his material's been received. Obviously, I believe I stand by this. Everybody, I have every reason to believe that Chris Chibnall was allegedly let go from this position. He was effectively fired. He didn't leave of his own free will, which is going to sting anybody. You will be wondering what your next job's going to be. He's about to be made.
Right.
He's about to be exposed.
I don't know, but like it seems unfair that he would have to carry the cat. I mean, it seems like Piers Wenger really is. This is everything they wanted. He delivered everything they wanted. And they were delighted.
Well,
Doctor
mate,
Who is editorially
we know that
the best position's ever been.
We know that Piers Wenger's moved on. Again, officially, people at that level they fail upwards. But for all we know, we just heard that he'd moved on. He may have been persuaded to move on as well.
How do you keep getting good jobs? I don't understand. When you burn something down, how do you get been given more matches? I don't understand.
They all know where they've all buried the bodies on their way up. If you follow me, I mean, Piers Wenger has allegedly caused more.
Yeah,
than most.
I guess that's how it works. I love how blissfully ignorant what's the name Janet looks here.
If you think about poor Janet, I mean, she's in the 60s, and all she hears, and she's not as connected to the whole community as many of them are. Certainly, as Sophie is. Sophie is more than aware of the divide with the fandom. Believe me, she is a lovely, lovely woman. Sophie's aware. I don't think Janet really is. I think I get the impression that Janet, she's got a Twitter account where most people, and she'll choose who to follow and who not, like everybody else. And she'll have just been bombarded with a lot of people from that side of the aisle telling her that she's wonderful, which she is in her own way. And I love Janet Fielding, but she will have heard mostly positivity. And the only negativity that she will have heard will have been from people who she would find quite objectionable. I don't think she'd understand how it all works, the dynamic of it all. Whereas I think Sophie's a lot more aware. I know she is.
What do you think Sacha Dhawan's take is on it?
He's just happy to be in work. I like this actor a lot. I think that he goes from project to project. He's a very much in demand actor. He has a blast with whatever he's doing, and if he gets booked for Doctor Who again, he'll rub his hands and think great, and he'll enjoy it. But then he'll go on to the next job and probably not give it a great deal of thought. I think he's that busy, that in demand, and that much a captain of his own ship. I don't think he really. From one job to the next, he'll go to the conventions and shake people's hands. And because he's never done anything offensive himself, he'll always get a warm reception. I think he has. But he got that after playing Waris Hussein anyway. So I think that he feels part of the family anyway. He knows that we liked him anyway. So it's a different story for him.
Right. Do you think his master box sets from Big Finish will sell? Do you think we'll get a third volume?
No, I don't. I think that he'll continue playing the master for Big Finish, but Big Finish have been experimenting a lot this year. You and I both know that, and some of it's worked and some of it hasn't. And all of these things that they've tried, they can't possibly continue all of them. I think some of them have been deliberately one-offs to see how things are going to go, and I think that's probably one of them. Again, he's still a very young actor. How old is he? 42, something like that. He'll continue playing the master for as long as he can, but I think it'll depend on how many of these units Big Finish sell. I mean, they've done 3 sets with Eric Roberts now, but I think there's an appetite for that. I'm not sure there's an appetite to hear more of Sasha as the master alone.
I think Eric Roberts there is. I mean, anything tainted with Jodie is tainted with Jodie. It's just the way it is, I'm not being dick about it. I mean,
if they told you, if they told you there was 3 box sets coming with Matt Smith as the Doctor, where he would come up against Sacha Dhawan as the Master, you'd pre-order that, wouldn't you? I would.
Of course I would. Of course I would. Yeah, I'm saying. I was just going to say. I think there's a very good chance that if Russell E. Davies wants to bring back a master, that he would bring back Sacha Dhawan.
Yes, he's worked with him before. They knew of one another. Obviously, there's Angeli in the equation as well. They're all part of. I don't want to use the word clique.
Oh, because stunning. By the way, whenever you see them on the behind the sofa thing in the Blu-rays, she is stunning. She's like, she's I was like, really? When did that happen?
Even when she's sat there wearing an old cardigan or something, she just looks hot as.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's more like this elegance. It's like she really is stunning. And Jodie is just looks vacant, right? Look at this carnival monsters. What do you want to tell you? So look, Chibnall doesn't look happy. You're right. He doesn't look comfortable. He never looks comfortable in his skin. Poor little lamb. Listen, mate. I don't know. I feel him taking the can on this alone really feels unfair. I think they should commission more work from him.
He's effectively hiding behind Janet there, but if you look at his body language and the look on his face, you're right. He shouldn't carry the entire can, but then again, he is a grown man. It's not like it was his first job. It's not he didn't win the X Factor. He'd worked his way up in various shows. He'd ran shows before, co-created shows. And he knew what he was doing. He was placed in a position where, they say, I couldn't possibly turn it down. No, my friend, you could have turned it down, and you should have, because you knew from day one. From day 0, he knew that he didn't have a take on this character. He knew that he wasn't up to the job, but he did it anyway. And so, it is on him.
I don't think he knew till, I think he was shocked and very disturbed by the viewer data of season 11. But he was still optimistic, and I think he thought putting the monsters into season 12 would fix it, and it would got a lot worse, right? That's the one where he found out it was his ideas that people hated, right? That's what the data unquestionably showed you, right? And honestly, I feel bad for the guy. I think he needs, was it Jimbo Cracker?
Yes. One of my favorite shows of all time, Cracker.
Yeah. So I remember. I saw because what's his name? Father Miller starting to watch it. So you had like a character raped another character as one of the ongoing storylines.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And the mental toll on the rapist, right, from not telling the truth was crushing and debilitating, right?
Yes.
I now obviously not equating him to a rapist, but I think he's genuinely probably experiencing a similar sort of trauma. I know
as you said, mate, he will immediately have those figures. He gets the same figures as we do. In fact, he gets them broken down.
Much better. He sees the instant figures, right? The watching live figures, which are abysmal.
And he'll see it broken down into 10-minute chunks as well. In fact, I think it's 5 minutes now. So he'll be more aware than everybody about what failed, why, and how much to blame he is or not. He's with his own conscience.
Right. But I don't know. And I honestly, I think pulling Flux off took a lot of work. But and how do you not realize your own deep lack of ability? I mean, come on. At the end of season 12, come on. I guess you're in for a penny, in for a pound at that point. But the BBC should have pulled the plug then. At the point that the data is there, it's just they had egg all over their face and they felt stupid.
Well, the other side to the aisle, they insist that the whole chaos in Cardiff thing didn't happen. And it didn't happen in quite the way that it made its way to YouTube, and it got amplified and spun just as much by people on our side of the aisle as theirs. But sure. we now know that during the production, we know this categorically because people have started talking about it. We know that during the making of Fugitive of the Jadoon, there was a sort of meltdown. People, the rumor was that Jodie had walked. But that didn't happen. But it does sound as if Chris Chibnall effectively went AWOL for an undisclosed period of time.
The rumor I heard was Chris Chibnall was like, "If you want me to run the show, this is what we're doing." Like I can't. Honestly, in terms of professionalism, I kind of hear that because like you've already hired me at this point.
Yeah.
But again, that people. I just hope he doesn't. He's not the only sacrificial lamb. Even though I don't know,
he's not the only fall guy. Well, realistically, does Jodie Whittaker really deserve to be the mainline star of a major TV show ever again after this performance? It's been shocking.
No, and I mean, how did that other thing before Doctor Who to Trust Me or whatever it was called?
It was a modest success, but you know what? I think that only got the ratings that it did because a lot of people who'd never seen her in anything before knew she was the new Doctor Who and watched her to try and get a handle on her. I think that put probably around 500,000 on the ratings, if not slightly more. But it was also a medical drama. It was also about a serial killer. You know, those things do kind of play well on British TV.
That she could imagine. That's in her wheelhouse. She's just not imaginative enough to be able to do the Doctor.
Exactly.
Because she's adult. What can I tell you? I honestly, probably nobody in this picture is.
In the last 7 days, Jodie Whittaker has given several interviews, and people keep asking me, about Type 40, you're going to mention this, you're going to mention that. She says she's saying so many either ignorant or silly or misjudged things. You just don't know where to start. You'd be there forever.
I've done 2 full videos. I did this. I went over the Guardian article last night, where we're saying how great she was. I'm like, no, no, this is a lie. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, it's not true. It's genuinely awful. like how I don't know how else. Like,
I'm not claiming she's a bad person, but this woman, she's not the sharpest knife in the box. She's a terrible ambassador for the show. She's only slightly above average actress, and she's quite unlikable when you hear her speaking for a long period of time.
Absolutely. Sorry. No, she is. She has very little charisma, and they keep telling you that she has, and it's not true. It's like the emperor's got no. But then again, it's the same thing in the entirety of politics in the UK and the the White House, the White House briefings. They just lie to your face.
Yeah,
it's like truth doesn't matter anymore, and it's like they've forgotten the rest of the world does tell the truth, right? It's just Hollywood and it's like politics and entertainment that doesn't.
Because our lives, they don't. I mean, perhaps you and I can't judge, but I was going to say our lives don't revolve around this stuff. They kind of do. But we've got families, we've got jobs, we've got all manner of other things pulling at our time and our attention. This is what we go to for our respite from all of that, for escapism. Whereas it is their day to day, it is their existence, it's their life's blood. It's what gives them their self-worth. Whereas Doctor Who, as much as I love it, doesn't give me my self-worth. I think people who in that kind of bubble, politically, in entertainment, I think it is very much tied to that this inflated sense of self. I think almost like a miniature god complex that they each of them have. When you talk to them, even the nice ones, when you interact with them, a great many of them have this way about them. I think it must be a fine line between having charisma and that aura, and to becoming a bit of a low-level monster.
Yeah. You always feel that Russell Brand is hovering there.
Exactly.
Yeah, he could go either way. I think he'll probably say that. So anyway, let's get to number 7. What's next? The next one.
Sing Spyfall. Having shot the entire episode with Sasha being the character O, and on the last day,
It's like one day he pretended to be one person, and then he pretended to be some. And like, you're an actor, darling. That's kind of your job. This looks like it was done before Flux. This looks old.
Of shooting Spyfall, he reveals himself to be the master.
I did say, look for the spy master. Or should I say, spy master.
He's so useless. Every time I look at it, she's like, how? Like,
I hate to say it, but just watching that scene as well, Rabbi, how Sacha Dhawan's performance has disintegrated since that moment. He was so good in that episode. I don't think he's been.
Yeah. And then he's just jumping. I think we're gonna get more like that. Although, what was he like when he came back? It was all crazy.
Yeah.
Digging in the ground by the side of a lighthouse.
This was the stupidest thing ever.
Oh God, really, Jodie, really?
It was because then they needed to go inside and they couldn't go inside.
Yeah, this woman's a complete airhead.
And seeing the top of a TARDIS and turning around to meet Joe Martin's phenomenal Doctor.
You're probably a bit
only phenomenal compared to you, darling. I mean, let's be fair.
confused right now.
And she looks so uncomfortable in that outfit. All right, I mean, like it's like, oh, I feel so doctory. No, it doesn't work.
So then, obviously, the biggest moment so far for me in shooting on emotional stakes was when Graham and Ryan decide to leave.
This was agonizing, right? This was super cringe territory for a long time. This wasn't quick, like ooh, like like when somebody walks in and it's a snake dance, right? And it's like it's got Martin Clunes wearing a silly outfit, right?
In his underpants.
Oh, right, yeah. It was an extended like,
This was bad. No, there's no excuses. This was so underwritten, and I didn't think it was particularly well acted. Even by Bradley Walsh. By this point, he just wanted to go, didn't he? He was bored out of his brains.
It's blank at 6. I gotta go. Get me out of here. It was, and then afterwards, you have like this weird thing with like his ex-wife appearing in the sun, also like a Teletubby thing. It was all weird. None of it worked, and Ryan still can't ride a bike. Okay, so there you go. He's gone. But at least got a bit of a career out of it.
The TARDIS and the adventures of with the Doctor behind for going back to their life. Bye, fam. At the beginning of season 13, myself and Mandip are dangled over an acid ocean by Carvanister.
This was the stupidest thing ever, right? This was, oh God. And look, I didn't pause it like this on purpose. This is the stupidest thing ever, right? Okay, why was Carvanister hanging them upside down over an acid ocean with a thing that was about to let them go and blow up? And then they the whole getting out of it was just stupid. Every part of it was stupid. Did you watch this?
Yeah, of course I did. It was it's just as you said. It was all awful. Everything about it creatively. Each scene, one scene after the other, was either ridiculous or stupid or made no sense.
This was a dumb person's idea of what to do with Doctor Who. So I want to show it because they're going to make it as look. Both these women look as sexless as humanly possible right now.
The moment beforehand where it's just a green screen and
yeah, it's just like. Why make yourself look so freaking awful?
Two people being
right. It's like there's no advantage to this. Anyway, let's see.
Winched up on wires. I think me and Mandip thought we probably looked kind of superhero-ish, probably quite Marvel, and
no, you didn't, darling.
Actually, what we look like is when when you see in those rescue videos of animals that get stuck on a little cliff edge and they have to go rescue them with a big winch. That was what raising me and my.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
No, I don't either. I don't know what she's.
No, so this must be around the time they did Flux, and I guess. Oh God, that costume is just awful. I mean, it's just so on the bloody nose, isn't it? It's like
it's ridiculous.
Oh, look at me! I'm a friend to the gays. Oh, okay. Here's the thing with the people like Jodie Whittaker who live on Twitter. They are baby-brained imbeciles that need to scream the most basic things at the top of their voice so everybody knows. They're like, yeah, racism is bad. Yes, Jodie, racism is bad. No, racism is really bad. Jodie, yes, racism is bad. No, but racism is really, yes, Jodie, racism is bad. Yes, right the fucking bad. What do you want at me? Oh, it's like an idiot child you're stuck with.
It's like that guy on Twitter the other day who said to me, so you're telling me that you agree with harassment? No.
Oh, yes.
It didn't matter how many times I said, no one's been harassed. He wasn't accepting that answer at all. He was determined to, no, Dan Hadley agrees that people should be harassed. It didn't really matter what I said.
These people are, and the other thing is, I remember when I was young, right? One of the early jobs I had, I went for a temp agency. They had me cleaning. That's how unemployable I was. I was cleaning a mental facility. I realized most of these people are fucking nuts. I'm sorry. Okay, why is there a disproportionate amount of people on the more unusual spectrum of sexuality attracted to this era? Okay, not why. There are a more
yeah,
which is fine, which I like, but also the more how we say abstract my sexuality tends to get, the higher propensity to mental illness within that group. Just a statistic, which I think we've all encountered. These people are fucking nuts.
I don't disagree with any of that.
Well, I wouldn't ask you to reiterate it. So thanks for that, Jodie, bringing the like angry autistics. That's essentially her demographic.
In all truth, yeah. I mean, I think it has more. I think it has. How many times do you? I mean, Twitter is the prime sort of hunting ground for these people, and they stalk your profile and they come at you with something that they've looked and they've seen. They come at you with something they think they know about you, and so you go and you think, well, who exactly are you? And then you click on their bio, and it always says either I'm spectrumed.
Yeah,
all this kind of stuff, non-cis, all this stuff, every single time.
It always equals, and that means it's okay for me to stalk you. Like, and monitor your communications like the East German Stasi, or 2022 FBI, as it turns out.
I mean, the other day, I had some woman land on me for saying, or whatever it was I said, that I didn't like Jodie Whittaker, whatever she'd done, I can't remember what it was now. And she landed on me and said, oh, you're just a misogynist. And I thought, well, I have heard this one before, funny enough. I click on her link, and in her bio, it says, I'm a proud misandrist. I think, okay.
Exactly. You're dealing with crazy people, right? They are openly crazy.
If they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. It's the old phrase. But they're all, I think they're just going to find something else to do. Because most people are just going to like the new Doctor Who or not. And it looks that way. And because it's a year away, It's far too long for them to wait for it to see anything. So I've seen a few accounts already shutting down now.
Right. We're a couple of weeks away from being gone forever.
Yeah.
The Not My Doctors of the world are gone. Right? It just, thank God. We basically it's one of the few franchises they didn't destroy. Right? They're the only people left around comic books now. Right? Apart from Comicsgate.
I've seen.
And there's no real industry either.
What's been done to comics is really upsetting. I mean, I can't say that I've read much in comics for the last 5 or 6 years. It's just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. I mean, I canceled my subscription to 2000 AD about a year ago. I just realized that everything was about a female hero. Even Judge Dredd's psychic was a female accountant. I'm just bored. Oh God! The more you scream, women can do things. The more you're saying, I don't think they can. Right? Just relax. Right? Like, let's see what she's got to say about this next one.
And dip into the sky look like.
You look like
it's the end of the series, and we're shooting with the TARDIS out in Liverpool, night shot, crane shot, and there are crowds of people. And then
I remember we saw the people taking pictures.
Yeah, there's people waiting at cash points and all sorts of things, but they could have been there for her, I suppose, couldn't they?
No, I think it always brings a crowd. I do. and they're always there. There's always people there. And, I was talking earlier about how one likes something and one doesn't like something, right? There are people there who are genuinely like Doctor Who and are generally somewhat rational who love this era. Don Martin, right? I saw him on Twitter earlier with the video thing, and he wasn't talking about the Jodie's Doctor, but he genuinely loves this era. He absolutely adores it.
I think I've spoken to Dom about this very matter on Type 40, and he's actually really pragmatic about it all when you speak to him about it.
Right.
Generally speaking, I think he likes what Jodie's done. I think he does. I think that's genuine that he does. And I'm sorry, Dom, if you're watching, I don't want to speak for you, but he's more than aware, because he has said things that haven't been popular with his followers and been on the receiving end of that a time or two. In fact, that was when he gave an interview to us. He'd had a terrible weekend on Twitter where not just people in the fandom, but several Doctor Who personalities had turned on him, people who he'd, people from Big Finish and things, and he was immensely upset by it because the way he saw it, as he explained to me on the podcast, was that he'd always told the truth as he sees it. He was continuing to do that. He hadn't changed at all.
Right. Well, I think that's what makes him different from the
I think it's authenticity and integrity, and with somebody like Dom, and he's not the only one by any means, but he's probably the most high profile one, and he's a genuine interest in what other fans feel in the same way that I feel that you do. He just comes at it from if anything, the opposite direction.
Right. I agree. I do. Yeah, he's always somebody listen. But here's the thing, right? It was when Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who started. When you said you didn't like it, people heard in their heads you saying, I love Donald Trump and Brexit because I hate black people. That's generally what they heard in their heads, right? And so even people like Dom, if you're in that side of that cultural part of the aisle, that's what it meant, right? Donald Trump had to be racist. Doesn't matter what he said or did. He had to be racist, right? So, same thing here. That you had to be evil if you didn't like this era of Doctor Who.
Also, mate, we're going back 5 or 6 years where people who are in their mid to late 20s now were around like 20, or some of them in their late teens. Some of them were even in their mid-teens. And so they've grown up with all of this going on and this entire conversation being skewed in this way. And I think it shaped their view of what discussion is. I think it shaped their view of what politics is. And politics, I mean, is it politics we're seeing at the moment? We seem to be just seeing two left-wing parties in the UK fighting it out between themselves about who's the worst. And I think it's not quite the same in America, but this isn't an accurate representation of what politics is supposed to be. It's certainly not.
No, none of this is normal. Here's the thing. These kids think it's normal. None of this shit is normal. It's been crazy for years now.
Yeah.
And it's getting crazier. Right? How crazy was it? Donald Trump was good. I thought it would just be funny, right? Turned out we had world peace and the best economy ever, right?
I mean,
he was actually genuinely good.
Look back to Arachnids in the UK with Mr. Big Trump in that, and we had mentions of Trump even from Moffat in series 10, and you can see, and bear in mind that they would have started filming series 10 of Doctor Who before Trump had even got in. And you think, God, or they'd have been filming it around the time that he'd have been elected. So they weren't even waiting to see whether he could deliver as the president. It was, it was inconsequential. It was inconsequential to them what he was going to actually do in office. They decided how it was because he was an evil Republican.
You're right. Phil Bogart, when you say you're anti-Israeli government, you're probably not. Okay, you've probably just been told a bunch of bullshit that the Israeli government done and these atrocities. None of them are real. Like it's all bullshit, mate. Every single one. If you pull any out you want, they're all bullshit, and they always turn out to be bullshit. Which is why it's across the entire media now, right? There's just so much bullshit. Nobody tells the truth. Man, if a politician would just tell the truth, they would be so insanely popular.
Well, we found one the other day. There was a guy, a politician on Twitter, a conservative MP, who did I see tweet it? I think it was Anna Brees, somebody like that. On Twitter.
The video?
Yeah, there's a guy, I think his name's Matthew.
I saw that. Yeah.
And they stopped him, and whoever it was that was interviewing him was saying, you sound really angry. And he was speaking in a very sort of in a controlled way because, I'm really angry. This is beyond the pale. This is not serving the British public. They should all be talking about his own party members.
Right.
This just speaking. He was so relatable. So, but he had charisma. He was statesman-like. Why are people like this? I'm speaking for hundreds of backbenchers. Why are guys like him on the backbench? These are the people. These used to be our politicians. Not these wankers that we see parading around with their power dresses and power suits on, stroking one another's egos and lining one another's pockets.
It's just they're in the right place at the right. They're in it's politics. Okay, it's just politics. Some people want to do their job. Other people, this is just they're taking the right boxes.
Yeah.
Right, and the England is seeing the folly of that now. I mean, this is early in the winter. I don't know what's going to happen, but where you're going to be by March. Like, genuinely, it's like, I think you'll be okay, but I think there's going to be thousands dying this winter. I think there's going to be, there's always thousands, but, thousands more than the normal time.
I'm not an alarmist by any stretch of the imagination, but there are people are cutting their cloth. It's very... People are scared. And I don't like using words like scared, but people are scared that they're going to be able to eat and keep themselves warm. And obviously there's the things that people want to be able to give their family a good Christmas and things like that. But I think the British people are great at cutting their cloth, but there's only so far. You can't get blood out of a stone. All those maxims are true.
You get something like whoever that guy was. I remember that guy. It would just say, okay, this is the situation. This is what we got to do.
Yeah.
We got to move it.
The thing is, a lot of the time, that's quite unfashionable. I mean, Thatcher was very much like that. She knew what we'd got to do as a country, and had to make some really unpopular decisions. The woman's been dead for how many years, and yet people still slate her for making those decisions that she had to make. Practically all the right decisions.
That it radically improved the lives of the vast majority of England.
By far.
It radically improved the standard of living. It was over a period of 5 years. It was loads of money, right? Go and look up loads of money on YouTube. That's what it was like. Everybody had loads of money, right? It was crazy. It was great. So the 80s were really good. Bit too much coke. That turned into the 90s.
Go on, what have we got? What's her number one favourite? Because I haven't got too much longer.
Very quickly, Dawn.
It's more interesting. It really is.
Exactly. Me and Mandip, not one of them are there for us. They're all there for John Bishop, who's a legend in Liverpool, and he can't go.
Well, that makes sense.
Anywhere. It's like being with royalty. There is a moment where the Doctor turns into a weeping angel, and that technically to shoot, we were on a 360.
Okay, and give these cliffhangers to Paul Cornell and have him write it into a story. This was a great cliffhanger.
Yeah,
this is really great cliffhanger.
This is one of the best cliffhangers, certainly of the new series. It was excellent.
Yeah.
Green screen, obviously loads of it's done in post, but it was a really choreographed and detailed shooting day where I had to end in the iconic pose of the weeping angel, and knowing for the fans that the Doctor's going to turn into a weeping angel, that was really exciting to shoot.
Again, if it made any sense, it would have been so much better.
To bookend this entire thing, the very first thing I shot was walking through.
Still the best thing. Still the most Doctorish thing she's ever done.
It's been all downhill ever since.
It really has, hasn't it, Dom?
The grass to reveal that the 13th Doctor was going to be played by me. That was the very first time, I suppose, I experienced walking in the Doctor's shoes, but that was a really extraordinary thing to film.
What was your thoughts when you saw that?
I've spoken about this a few times, but I mean, in all honesty, I'd been told that it was Jodie on the Friday night by somebody who at the time I didn't know that well, so I didn't know how much I could trust them. Now, of course, I've known them for quite a long time, and they hated what Jodie did in the part, so they don't watch it anymore, ironically. But it turns out that person was very connected. I should have believed them. So I'd been told that she was going to be the Doctor, and so I was partly expecting it. But I think I'd continue to hope that they weren't going to do that. When that hood came down, I felt physically, a sensation, as if somebody had unplugged me from the mains. I immediately felt something drain out of my entire body, and I immediately lost interest. From that moment on, that is not the Doctor. The Doctor is not a woman. The Doctor is a masculine character, which means that, I'm sorry, girls and some boys, that 9 times out of 10, the best possible person to play a masculine character is going to be a fucking bloke. It's obvious. But yeah, I felt, because for me, if everybody's connection to the Doctor is slightly different, I accept that. But for me, it's my own connection to that character revolves. It's absolutely essential that he be male. So you change that, you lose me. It just lost me instantly. Wasn't interested after that.
See, I was far, far behind the wire on this one. Like, I was like, I felt that, like, my sane brain. See, okay, you have this holiday called Purim. It's in April in Judaism, right? You get insanely drunk, right? You get so drunk you can't tell between good and evil. So the basic idea of that is you let go of your conscious brain, right? And you get to much more your authentic self, your central self, right? So that was the thing that kicked in when I started. I'm like, oh no. But then my brain came and said, oh no, Tzvi, it's all going to be fine. Chris Chibnall's a professional. Jodie Whittaker,
yes.
They can't screw this up. They won't piss it away. And I was
Rabbi, I never warmed up to it, but what I decided, because at that point I was committed to Type 40. The show hadn't long launched, and I thought, okay, what do I do now? Because what have they actually done? If a brand new fantasy show was announced about an alien being coming to Earth and going on adventures, and it starred Jodie Whittaker in the lead role, I thought to myself, well, I liked her in Broadchurch. I liked her in Black Mirror. I liked her in, and I thought, I've got a list of 5 or 6 things here that I liked her in. I thought, well, I said this is a potted version of my story with it. I got to the place where I thought, okay, Doctor Who has been good to me throughout my life. Perhaps it's time that I place a bit of faith in it and commit it. Take a little time away and try and come at it with a pure heart. So that's what I tried to do. I did give it a really good shot. As people, and if people listen to those early episodes of Type 40, it's there. They're all still available. You can hear my journey from having built myself up to a place of hope and being generous to that being gradually thrown back in my face by this production team of complete incompetence.
When did you crack?
When did I crack? Oh, I think the major. I mean, I remember a feeling of dread in that final scene in The Woman Who Fell to Earth when she was on the crane. I thought, oh my God, they've miscast her. but then I carried on for a few weeks. Then it was arachnids in the UK. That was when I thought, God, these people can't make this show. But I think when I really cracked was Fugitive of the Judoon, was when I realised that this was as regards her. I think it was probably the Sinagra conundrum, where I realised it was she just didn't have it in her, and I was wasting my time, and it became a chore to watch from that moment on.
That was one for me. The Sinagra conundrum, where I hope for the season it's like, this is just crap, right?
Yeah.
This is just crap.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to watch,
but that was a few weeks. I first discovered that you weren't allowed to talk about this on social media with arachnids in the UK, right? Which was so overtly political, right? Yeah. And so I spoke about the politics of it, and I was told not to be political. I'm like, but this is overtly political.
This is nothing but political.
It's just ridiculous. So you just don't want me to like, but that's when I first saw that. But by the time, so we Woman Who Fell to Earth. I'm like, yeah, you can't really tell. Or, yeah, who knows? It might just be a bit naff, but nothing terrible. Ghost Monument. I thought, this actually seems like it'd be quite good. You need to settle in, get a good script. But so far, I'm okay. Rosa, I was too afraid to not like. Right, I was carried on by the Zygist, and then we had Arachnids UK, which was awful. I said, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You can have one awful episode.
Yeah, me too.
And then you had Sinagra Conundrum. I was like, man, this is garbage, right? And it just. Do you remember when we were excited with It Takes You Away? You're like, oh, this is a good one this week, right? And now it's like, oh, that's awful. That's all on the Space Frog.
Actually, yes, right? I'll change my answer. I'll change my answer. The moment when I realised was when that frog appeared. For the first time I've been watching this show my entire life, including every episode of season 24 on broadcast.
Right.
The Paradise Towers, Delta and the Bannermen, the Candyman, all that stuff. But for the very first time, I laughed out loud, audibly laughed at Doctor Who. Didn't laugh with it. There's no irony. Yeah.
My brain. I was like, what? It was just my brain could not process it. But then again, by the time we got to Spyfall, right, I was optimistic. I'm like, maybe they're going to turn it around for next season.
I think we did. I think because we wanted to get behind it. We didn't want to be black-hearted about this. So it sounds like you and I were both on a similar page. You think, no, things will get better. Particularly because I'd had that instant reaction where I thought, oh, God. I had to fight myself. From that moment on, I had a year to get back to a place where I was open again to the idea that this might be okay. Exactly. And so I was very resistant to give that ground back. But when they made mistake after mistake after mistake, they were pushing me back to that place. And then it just, after It Takes You Away, the frog on the chair, it was just free falling in every respect.
But, it was all from 55 where I was like, this is never.
Absolute shit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I was I would have stopped watching if it wasn't for the channel. It was like Orphan 55, which was.
I thought trust me to commit to sign up to present a Doctor Who podcast at the moment where a series I've loved all my life turns to absolute crap. But
absolute shit. Well, listen, wouldn't it be weird to go back in time now and run your channel knowing what was going to happen? Like you can go back to 2016. Man, I would pump that channel.
I have to love you and leave you, my friend. But
I was going to say, do you have a thumbnail for tonight? We can throw up quickly.
I do. I am on tonight. I know everybody's on tonight. I know. Hold on a second, but absolutely everybody. But this is me. Where am I? One moment, everybody. I'll play some lift music or sing you a song. Oh no! Where is it? Where? So myself and my amigos over at Type 40, we're getting together and we're having a bit of a powwow about the special. This is the first time we've ever done this. I think you've done it now and again, haven't you, Rabbi? Where you do the live reaction sort of thing.
That's under here. Yes.
I've never done anything like this before on Type 40, so it's a first for me. But lots of the Type 40 regulars are going to be there on screen, coming in with their hottest of hot takes for you about the episode.
Everything looks like it's going to be awful, right? The embarrassment the BBC have for this is so palpable. That last trailer they put out without Jodie in it, and every other cool Doctor Who thing,
There's as little of her in us as they possibly could. They've already begun. Do you know Jodie Whittaker is on the one is on the one show next week? After amazing, absolutely amazing.
So you're on at 9:10.
Yeah.
Right, so go go from Noel to Type 40, then you come to me at 9:30. You know that point you've seen the others. Now you can come.
That's it. To the main event.
Even Ian is here.
I just noticed there's a guy in the chat, 8-bit, who says, "Why is Tzvi wearing a Santa hat?" That's my fault.
Because
8-bit.
it's fucking Christmas, baby. It's fucking Christmas. Jodie is going. Thank God. Hashtag ding dong. Fuck me. Bye bye.
So I'll probably tweet at you later on or whatever else. But yeah, enjoy your evening, mate. Thanks for the chat, and thanks to everybody for the comments and whatnot. Look at that thumbnail, absolute gold. I'll speak to you all later. Merry Christmas.
Ecky thump. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off as well. I'm gonna be back at 9:30 UK, 11:30 for me. Bloody hell, 11:30 for me. I got to set up the stream now, so I'm gonna be back. Then join me then. For my live reaction. I was going to spoil everything. I'll go through the entire plot. I'll let you know exactly what they did and how awful it was. It might be good. It's not going to be good. I'm hitting the end broadcast button. I'm hitting it again. And that